Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Ted, hanging out with.
I'm Dave.
And today we got a GM 911 from Josh Campbell, and he wants to know, how does he get his players to do more role-playing?
But before we get to that, you guys can get tips on things like getting your players to roleplay more weekly in your inbox from the Nerdarchy newsletter, which you can find in the description down below. Also, you'll learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
So the problem is I think this is the first time he's DMing, or he kind of gives me that new DM experience.
He still has the new DM smell.
Yeah, but his players have really enjoyed the hack and slash style game that he's been running, and he's like, all right, I've set up some challenging stuff. The players have nearly died a couple of times, and they're loving it. But some of the players have said, you know what, I'd like to do a little bit more role-playing.
And he wants to know how to draw it out.
Right.
And he's expressed, like, as a player, he has a good idea about how to draw it out, the role-playing from other players and how to role-play. And really, like, if you can do it as a player, you can do it as the DM. You just need the vehicle. But unfortunately, you're the DM, so you, like...
You are the vehicle.
You have all the tools you need in your toolbox.
Yeah. The thing as the DM... that you have to remember is you are the world. You are nature, you're the buildings, you're the creatures, you're the people, you're all of it. So when somebody says something, you're the one doing it. So if you want to put more role playing in your game, all you need to do is just begin talking to the players. When they walk into a town, you could have a little kid come up and like, oh, do they have a reputation? Are these guys heroes of the town? The little kid could come up and be like, wow, I want to be like you, and see what they do with it. If they walk into the armor, the armor shop or the smithy to get something fixed or made, have him ask, oh, well, what is this for? And try to encourage them to get a story.
Or he could recognize a piece of equipment they're carrying and be like, oh, that's from so-and-so.
Right.
Is it not?
Right.
Or or I'm not familiar with that make. Which town do you have from? What is the smith to craft at that, or anything really to draw out conversation from your players. And it doesn't have to just be in the town, though. It could be a merchant on the road. It could be a prisoner in a dungeon. You can find people to interact with anywhere. It could even be a monster.
Absolutely, I was gonna go there myself. If you're encountering smaller monsters like goblins and kobolds, they could role play in the fight and surrender, give up, they could beg for their lives. If you're fighting something like an ogre or a minotaur, it could make threats and try to convince them to stop fighting because they're going to die. And all it takes is these little things that you're putting in there that are going to spice up your game, and your players are going to enjoy it that much more. And then they're going to want to follow suit. So when they're the big guys, they might be threatening the goblins and the kobolds to just be like, look, give up. Give me what I'm looking for. When they're, encountering something that's, bigger than them, they might, talk some smack or, whatever.
Right, and it's a fantasy world. It could be a talking tree or a singing mushroom. You never know where their role-playing is going to come from.
And Dave did put in a singing mushroom in one of his games.
A talking tree.
Well, the talking trees have happened, far more often over the years, but I've only encountered one singing mushroom.
So far.
So far, yes.
Where there is one, there may be many more.
So, I really think it's a short and simple answer. As the DM, all you need to do is just put that information out there. You can dip your feet in, or you can just jump in whole hog.
Yeah. With a lot of these, no matter what that thing is that you want more of in your game, as the DM, you just have to put it there. You have to lead by example, and you have to show them that they have more options. And and just to expand on it, it could be anything. It doesn't have to just be role playing. Like if you want your players to do more interesting things in combat, have the bad guys do more interesting things in combat.
That's true.
If you want your spellcasters to use their spells in varied and different and unexpected ways, do it to them. Like you just have to show them what they can do. Sometimes you have to train your players to play the game that you want them to play.
Right.
And sometimes they want to play it too. They just don't know it. They don't know they have the options. That's all.
Absolutely. Now Josh also said that like his PCs, their backstories are not fleshed out, and that's just fine, because what you can actually do is you can back build your backstory as you're playing. So anytime something comes up, the player or you as the DM can throw in there, well, that reminds me of this incident. And then you just make some notations that this thing happened. It doesn't need to be some, pivotal, story. It could be just as like, oh, that reminds me of the time at, Jalen. And I, in fact, did this in one of our most recent games. We had an argument that was going on, and I just threw that out there, and it really built hey, wait a second, that was something that we didn't really talk about or write down anywhere. But it showed that the characters were linked and that there was more story going on than what was previously known. And some people might have picked up on it and some people might not have. But as the more and more you do this, your character's backstory will get fleshed out. And it will encourage them to be like, well, what else am I missing? And they'll really then care about that stuff.
Yeah, and again, you can go back to just discussion with other players and NPCs that just start filling in the blanks as you go along. Or the DM, as long as your players are okay with it, you should run it by them. You can start introducing things from their backstory, or if they do give a little bit, you can elaborate on that as well.
Yes, yeah. You will find as a DM that more than half of your players are going to give you a narrow backstory, and they're usually cool with you expanding that. Within the confines of that story, you can work with it, and every player really enjoys to see things come up specific to their character, so it's always good.
So let us know in the comments below what you guys think. How would you handle it? What are your suggestions? While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can head over to Facebook and check out funny memes.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.